In a warehouse in Southeast Asia, prosecutors say, workers stood over rows of servers, holding a hairdryer, not to fix them, to heat up the shipping labels and peel them off. Underneath were some of the most powerful AI chips on Earth, the kind the United States had banned from ever reaching China. And according to a federal indictment, this is how $2.5 billion in restricted Nvidia technology allegedly crossed one of the most heavily guarded lines in the world. But the most shocking part isn't the size of the operation. It's the man accused of running it. He wasn't a smuggler off the street. He was a co-founder of the very company that built those machines. To understand how one executive could allegedly move that much banned hardware, you first have to understand why these chips are worth more than gold, and why America was willing to start an economic war to keep them. The AI boom isn't just software, it's physical. It runs on raw computing power, and that power comes from microchips. Nvidia's GPUs are the brains of this revolution. They're not ordinary components. They're extraordinarily hard to manufacture, and they can run billions of calculations at once. The most advanced of them, chips like the H200 and the B200, are so powerful that a single shipment of servers can train an entire artificial intelligence model. Whoever controls the most of them leads the race for AI. That's why, in October 2022, the US government made an aggressive move. Citing national security, Washington banned the export of the most advanced AI chips and the servers built around them to China. This wasn't a trade dispute. It was a blockade. American officials feared China could use these chips to build next-generation weapons, cyber warfare tools, and supercomputers. And as Chinese AI labs raced to catch up with American companies, demand for the banned hardware only grew. Overnight, every chip that slipped across the border became worth a fortune. There were buyers with deep pockets, willing to pay far above market price, and Silicon Valley warehouses were full of exactly what they wanted. The only problem was getting it there. At the center of this story is a company called Supermicro Computer, Supermicro for short. In 1993, engineer Charles Liang founded it in San Jose, California, alongside his wife and a small group of partners. One of those co-founders was a man named Wally Liaw. Supermicro doesn't make the chips. It does something just as critical. It takes chips from Nvidia, AMD, and Intel and builds the world's most powerful custom servers around them. They're the architects of the data centers that AI runs on. When the AI boom hit, Supermicro went from a forgotten hardware maker to a Fortune 500 star almost overnight. Its stock multiplied. It built Elon Musk's massive Colossus cluster in a record 122 days. Its revenue was projected to reach $40 billion. This is the key thing to understand. Supermicro isn't some shady middleman. It sits at the heart of American tech power, and it's one of Nvidia's most important partners. It had also been here before. Years earlier, the company had already run into trouble over US export rules. That history would make what came next even harder to explain. So who is the man at the center of the alleged smuggling ring? His name is Wally Liaw. He's a 71-year-old Silicon Valley veteran who served as senior vice president of business development and sat on the company's board. He'd helped build Supermicro alongside Charles Liang for over 3 decades. He had direct access to global supply chains, logistics partners, and the company's most valuable inventory. Here's the crucial distinction. The charges target Wally Liaw personally, along with his alleged co-conspirators. Prosecutors have not charged CEO Charles Liang, and Supermicro, the company, has not been charged with any crime. According to the indictment, Liaw used his position, his know-how, and his contacts to build a shadow system inside the company, one that ran against US export law and against Supermicro's own compliance rules. A man who had spent 30 years building the company was now accused of using it against his own country. So how do you move billions in cutting-edge technology past one of the tightest controls on Earth? The indictment describes a complex, coldly engineered network. Prosecutors say it worked in 5 steps. First, fake orders. Shell companies were set up across Southeast Asia, especially in Thailand and Malaysia. They placed official orders for Supermicro's top servers, the ones packed with restricted Nvidia chips. On paper, the hardware was destined for legitimate businesses in the region. Nothing looked out of place. Second, assembly and legal export. The servers were built in the US, shipped first to Taiwan, then forwarded onto warehouses in Southeast Asia, all of it moving through what looked like normal licensed channels. Third, erasing the identity. Once the servers arrived, this is where the hairdryers came in. Workers allegedly heated and stripped off the serial numbers, the barcodes, the factory markings. Anything that could trace a machine back to Supermicro or reveal what was really inside was removed. Fourth, the decoys. To fool inspectors, the ring allegedly built what prosecutors called dummy servers. These were empty shells, or boxes, filled with old, worthless hardware, staged to be shown during official inspections. While the inspectors looked at the fakes, the real AI servers were repackaged in plain boxes, relabeled as generic computer parts. Fifth, the final delivery. Stripped of any trace, the hardware was flown and shipped straight to China, where buyers were waiting to pay many times the price. According to prosecutors, this route ran for 2 years. Before it was exposed, an estimated $500 to $10 million in critical technology had already reached buyers in China. No secret stays buried forever. Not when the US Commerce Department is watching. The network started to crack in late 2024, at a time when Supermicro was already facing separate scrutiny in the United States. American officials had noticed strange irregularities in export records. They sent Supermicro formal warnings about one specific customer, referred to in the indictment only as Company 1. They demanded shipments stop and announced a physical compliance inspection. That's when the panic set in. According to the indictment, security cameras captured damning footage the day before the inspection. Workers rushing to prepare dummy servers and swap shipping labels, trying to hide the trail before officials arrived the next morning. But maybe the strangest piece of evidence came from Liaw's own phone. According to messages obtained by prosecutors, someone in the ring sent Liaw a news link about a different AI chip smuggling ring that had just been busted by federal agents. It was a warning that the net was closing in. Liaw's alleged response? A string of sobbing face emojis. Many people would have stopped right there. But prosecutors say Liaw and his partners kept going anyway. On Wednesday, March 19th, 2026, agents made their move. Wally Liaw was arrested. The news hit Wall Street out of nowhere. The arrest of a co-founder of one of Silicon Valley's favorite companies for AI chip smuggling was a scenario no investor saw coming. The reaction was immediate and brutal. Supermicro's stock crashed about 33% in a single day. More than $6 billion in market value wiped out in hours. The next day, Liaw resigned from the board, effective immediately. Through his lawyer, he has pleaded not guilty to all charges, and he's not alone. Prosecutors also charged his alleged co-conspirators. Willie Sun was arrested. A third key figure, Stephen Chang, remains a fugitive. The charges: conspiracy to violate export controls, smuggling goods from the United States, and conspiracy to defraud the US government. If convicted, Liaw faces up to 20 years in prison. This case is about far more than one man's alleged greed. It's a window into a global chip war. Soon after the arrest, Reuters published an investigation revealing where the smuggled hardware ended up. According to its sources, at least 4 Chinese universities and research institutes had obtained these Supermicro servers carrying banned Nvidia chips. Most alarming of all, 2 of those universities have direct ties to China's People's Liberation Army. For Washington, this is a nightmare scenario, but it's also an opportunity. Legal experts call Liaw's case a signal indictment. The message to the world is clear. If you're part of the chain, a freight company, a middleman, even the co-founder of a global public company, they will come after you personally. No one is too big to be held accountable when American technology leaks to a rival. The irony of this story is hard to miss. A company lifted up as a shining star of American AI dominance now finds its own co-founder accused of leaking those same crown jewels to Washington's biggest rival. It's worth remembering the most important principle of the justice system: the presumption of innocence. Wally Liaw and his co-defendants are innocent until a trial says otherwise. The case is just beginning, and the coming months will reveal how deep this ring really reached into Silicon Valley. But it leaves one heavy question hanging. If a leak this big, $2.5 billion, running for 2 years, could happen inside one of the most watched companies in the industry, how many more operations are running right now, in the shadows, with no one watching at all?